Okay, so this is number 15 on page 316, I believe. It's the Chapter 5 mid-chapter quiz. We are given 3 points. Here they are, P, Q, and R. They are 2, 5, 8, 5, and 1, 8. As you can see, they form a right triangle. We are being tasked with finding the circumcenter and the orthocenter. So the circumcenter is what we get when we connect the, anybody? That's right, well, I'm talking to myself right now, so the bisector of all of them. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to start off with finding the midpoint of each, because we know that the perpendicular bisector of each of the sides is going to go through the midpoint at 90 degrees. Now, lucky for us, we have 2 flat lines here. So we know that this is 90 degrees. Again, I'm going to apologize, not again. This is the first time I've done it. This should have been up earlier, recorded this earlier, and tried to post it. Somehow it didn't work and didn't record onto the tablet. So I'm redoing it, and because I'm redoing it, I don't have my stylus with me, so this is all with my fingers. So the writing's worse than normal, so I apologize for that. So we're looking for the midpoint. Now on all of these, we find that the midpoint is, remember, x1 plus x2 over 2, y2 plus y1 over 2. So P and Q is a little bit easier because we have a flat line, so we know that we're not actually changing the y's at all. Both y's are 5, so we're going to stay at 5, and that makes sense even if we plug it back into the equation. 5 plus 5 is 10. Divided by 2 is 5. So we look at 8 plus 2 is 10, also divided by 2. So we get our midpoint at 5. So when we sit there, we get a up and down line on 5. So that would be x equals 5. And then we're going to do the same for QR. Now again, we're on 8 there. We go from 1 to 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we know that that midline is going to be, midpoint is at 8, 3. And the line perpendicular, because QR is an up and down line, perpendicular line, the perpendicular bisector is what we're looking for, is going to go through at y equals 3. Where do those two meet up? Those two meet up at 5, 3. Okay, now if we're feeling a bit lazy, we could actually stop right there. We know that the point of concurrency on all of the lines, that all 3 lines have 1 point. So we know that the intersection of 2 of them is going to be the point of concurrency of the third as well. So we have 5, 3, but let's go ahead and just double check that. And for that, we want to get the perpendicular bisector of PR. So we know that PR, the two, it's 2, 5 and 8, 1. So the midpoint, we're going to go 8 plus 2 is 5, and 8 plus 2 is 10, divided by 2 is 5, and then we get 5 plus 1 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So we get the so we get 5, 3. So regardless of what line goes through that, what the slope is, we know that that's our point of concurrency. The point of concurrency of all perpendicular bisectors is going to be 5, 3. That's the circumcenter. Now again, if that is going to be equidistant from all of the vertices, and that is if we drew a circle that included all of the vertices, the center of it would be at 5, 3. So that gives us the orthocenter. Now remember, if you can, what we did in talking about the orthocenter. The orthocenter is the connects the altitudes. Now the altitudes go from 1 point and they travel to they are the line segment going from a vertex, so we got P right there, to the line opposite. Now that's going to be QR, and it needs to be at 90 degrees. Okay. Now the thing here is, because we already have this 90-degree angle right here, we can just draw like that. And if you remember when we talked about orthocenter, I gave you a list. I said orthocenter, if it is a acute triangle and acute triangle, it's going to be inside. If it is an obtuse triangle, the orthocenter is going to be outside the triangle. And if it is a right triangle, it is going to be on the right angle. So that's going to give you, at the 90-degree vertex, that is point Q, which gives us 8, 5 as the orthocenter. So there we have it. Circumcenter 5, 3, orthocenter 8, 5. Go ahead and copy this down, and go ahead and turn in, get some extra credit points. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you very much, and I will see you guys tomorrow.